Now you can live life elevated with superior wellness through the transformational power of light. Every second, thousands of biochemical signals are sent throughout the body using wavelengths of light. At Lifewave, our products are designed to harness that light in unique ways to optimize ultimate energy flows. Our global community is united by light, offering the promise of health, vitality, and opportunity through the power of synergy. 3 of our groundbreaking innovations together promote the ultimate in healthy living and offer you an opportunity, a 3-in-1 system that can change lives. Welcome to the future of wellness. It begins with X39, our breakthrough light-activated patch that taps into the body's natural ability to renew, restore, and perform at its best. Cellergize is a complete cellular energy and recovery system designed to fuel your day, support your mind, and recharge your body. And then, our all-new Lifewave X2O, a patented breakthrough in hydration science that dispenses light-infused water at the touch of a button. This is hydration reinvented. Lifewave X2O, when consumed daily, aids in proper hydration to support the effectiveness of X39 and Cellergize, boosting energy flows, nutrient absorption, metabolic activity, oxygen uptake, even activating key physiological responses. A power system of synergy, together more powerful than when separate. An innovative 3-in-1 system to intensify overall effectiveness. Because when your body is powered by light, energy flows and everything comes to life. It's time to build a foundation of hydration, energy, and recovery to fuel you, your body, and your business. Lifewave, the power of synergy. One system making it simple to start, share, and succeed. Awaken your potential. Experience the power of synergy. Share the light. Lifewave.
Please welcome to the stage your Lifewave host, Vanessa Borge.
Good morning, everybody. How about that? We like those performers? How are we feeling today? A little tired? But we're going to rally. We're going to rally because we're the Lifewave community and we have quite a bit of energy after that incredible performance. Let's hear it one more round of applause for Effie Pissarro, performing Carly Simon's Academy Award, Golden Globe, and a Grammy Award-winning song, Let the River Run. Speaking of award-winning, did you enjoy 7-time Grammy winner Jacob Collier last night? You all are really good singers. You're very, very good. It was such a memorable night. I can't believe we've come to the last day of this incredible event, but we are far from done. We still have so many of you to celebrate. If you are a new executive director or new presidential director here in the arena, please follow our ushers to line up now. We want to, of course, recognize all of you. Did any of you have a look at the online photo album yet? Take a look at that. Look at how amazing these brand partners look in their parades yesterday. We're going to continue to add to this throughout the event so you can relax, stay seated for the upcoming parades. And coming to the stage right now, welcome Claudia Hartneck, Vice President, European Sales, Garrett Johnson, U.S. and Canada General Manager, and Adriana Coe, APAC Director of Business Development. Let's hear it for them.
Hello, everyone. This morning, we get to present the newest brand partners who have advanced to the rank of Executive Director. Reaching Executive Director is proof that you have built a strong foundation, developed leaders all around you, and are leading your organization with vision and consistency. This rank is not just about the personal achievement, but it's also about the ripple effect you have created across your team and community. So let's stand up and celebrate our new executive directors. Woo!
How good is that?
You are showing us all what's possible when commitment meets leadership. We've celebrated many brand partners so far, and now it's time to honor leaders who have built thriving organizations with depth, stability, and vision to the level of presidential director.
Now this accomplishment reflects dedication, consistent effort, and the ability to create a lasting impact by sharing the light. You are the visionaries who are showing what is possible at Lifewave, making the impact on countless lives. So let's give the warmest congratulations to our newest presidential directors. Well, congratulations, everyone. You are paving the way for the future of Lifewave, and we are so proud of celebrating everyone today. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Congratulations! Just as Lifewave illuminates the path for people to realize their truest potential, our next speaker helps people step into their own light by harnessing confidence, performance, and well-being. Dr. Amy Cuddy is a renowned social psychologist and best-selling author whose groundbreaking work on power, presence, and body language has inspired millions around the world. Her TED Talk, Your Body Language May Shape Who You Are, has been viewed over 72 million times and was named by The Guardian as one of 20 online talks that could change your life. A former Harvard Business School professor and Princeton PhD, Amy has earned countless accolades for her teaching and research. She's also the author of the international bestseller Presence, which has been translated into 35 languages and praised for its accessible and uplifting insights. Through her deeply human approach, Amy empowers others to be more courageous, connected, and authentically present with her rare blend of scientific expertise, warmth, and practical tools. Please join me in welcoming the remarkable Dr. Amy Cuddy.
Wow, for having me. Ain't no mountain high enough. Thank you so much. I gotta say, I never thought that I would be standing on a stage like this. And, you know, talking to you about the very thing that I study, our nervous systems. Just think right now, thousands of nervous systems in this room are switched on. They are firing, they're flickering, they are alive. And all of them are sending and receiving signals, even in silence, even if you're not the one on the stage. Your nervous system is constantly communicating. It's constantly taking in information and then put 10,000 of those nervous systems together in a room with this kind of energy, right? I mean, that's what it's about. This is about your light, and it is about sharing the light. And I so deeply resonate with that message because my message, my work, is all about how we find our personal power and then how we use that to invite others to be present, to be authentic, to find their personal power, to find their light. That's what it's about. That's how we create the most innovative, effective, communal futures. We do this together, but we have to start with ourselves. So think of your body as a light transmitter. Your body is reflecting what's happening. It is reflecting what's happening inside us, but also it is kind of illuminating and shaping what's about to happen. Not just in this moment, but after you leave. So the way you're sitting right now is sending information to your nervous system, and your nervous system is telling you how to see the world, how to see the person next to you, how to see your future, how to spend the rest of this day, whether or not you can be present and really take in what you're experiencing. You know, sometimes I have a good friend who's had a lot of success, and he said sometimes, his name is Chris, he says sometimes I allow myself to be my child Chris, watching my Chris now. And I get to enjoy it so much more because I never thought I would be here in this moment. That's presence. That's harnessing your nervous system. That's where personal power begins. It's not about shining the brightest or shining brighter than everyone else. It is about keeping your light alive, but it's about doing that because when your light is alive, it awakens the light in everyone around you. It is contagious, right? I mean, your lights you're affecting the people next to you. You may not realize it, but you are. You don't have to be the center of attention to be having this profound effect on the people around you. And that allows you to create teams and communities and relationships that are so much more sustainable, so much more effective. I want to just separate two constructs that people get confused. When you think about power, people often think about social power. And social power is power over others. It's control over other people's resources, their behaviors, their states, their outcomes. And social power is, by definition, dependent on others. And it's zero sum. The more social power one person has, the less power other people have. That doesn't make it fundamentally bad. It's neither good nor bad, but it's not the same as personal power. Personal power is the power to. It's control of your own inner resources, your behaviors, your states, your own outcomes, and it is self-sustaining. You can continue to renew that feeling of personal power. You can find it in the moments when you most need to find it, and it's infinite. You can have a lot of personal power, and it does not take personal power away from anybody else around you. And in fact, personal power is contagious. It's agency. It's your voice. When you look at measures of what we call, very loosely as psychologists, happiness. You know, every year a study comes out saying this is the happiest country. What does that really mean? What people are actually measuring when they're measuring happiness is presence of positive mood. So how often do you feel good? Lack of stress, lack of anxiety, sense of purpose, which is clearly very important to feel that your work and how you spend your time is meaningful and purposeful. But the variable that gets forgotten when we're talking about it in the news is personal power and agency and voice. And the nations that score highest on those scales are places where people feel that sense of personal power. They know they have some control over their outcomes, that they can bring their best selves forward when they need to. So personal power is not about status or dominance or control over other people. It's your internal source of energy and direction. It's what keeps you open and curious and courageous and connected when things get hard. It's what steadies you when the ground shifts, and the ground is shifting a lot. So in many ways, personal power has never been more important than it is now, as we're living through a period of so much flux and unpredictability. Think of it as the internal state that allows you to stay engaged with the world, even when circumstances might invite you to step away, to retreat from the world. It's the light that lets you keep reaching toward the world instead of pulling away from it. That's what personal power is. But the truth is that for everybody, there are times when that light is dimmer. It's not always steady. Sometimes that's temporary, and sometimes it's longer term. Sometimes it's caused by one small interaction that makes us feel small. Sometimes it's caused by something bigger. My interest in this work came out of my own experience of losing personal power, but not really understanding what was happening. This is my senior high school graduation photo. I was very eager, happy. I knew I was smart, I was excited. I grew up in a very small rural town in Pennsylvania, where not many people went to university after they went to high school. I was the only person in my class to go to school out of state, and I worked to pay for college as a roller skating waitress, and just flag roller skating because it's going to come up again. And also the next part has nothing to do with roller skating, but you might initially think it does. All right, so there I am. I'm at the University of Colorado at Boulder. I'm happy. Yay, Colorado, see? Mountains. and I didn't feel that I could lose that feeling of personal power. Although, again, I wasn't calling it that at that point. I just felt like I could take whatever class I want to take. I'm going to soak it up. I'm going to learn. I'm going to do something with it. And then in my second year of college, I was in a very serious car accident. We were driving a long distance overnight from Wyoming to Colorado, from Montana to Colorado through Wyoming. Montana or Wyoming or both? Woo, yeah, I know, they're all beautiful places. So we were trying to get back from morning classes. We were taking shifts driving, and the friend of mine who was driving during the third of 3 shifts fell asleep in Wyoming, and we ran off the road, and the car rolled 1.5 times and landed on the roof, and I was ejected from the car. My friends were fine. They were in their seatbelts. I was sleeping in the back. I always like to reassure people because people are kind and they're worried about what happened to my friends, and they're fine. I think the worst part for them was seeing what happened to me. I don't remember that. Again, I was in my second year of college thinking like the future is, just going to be wide open for me. But instead, I wake up in a head injury rehab ward, and I won't make you stay on that picture for long, but having sustained a serious traumatic brain injury. I had no idea why it was there. I had been withdrawn from college. I couldn't make sense of things. I couldn't understand what people were saying to me. I couldn't stand the lights. I mean, everything was different. My brain had experienced what's called a diffuse axonal injury. And if you think of your brain as an onion, and each layer of that onion is a different density, when you're thrown and stopped very quickly, it's moving at different speeds, each layer against each other. And so axons are being torn throughout your brain. And what that means, diffuse axonal injury is not a fun term, but let me tell you what that means. It means no one knows how your brain has been changed. Because when you have something like a stroke, it's in a specific area of the brain, and people can say you're going to have trouble with motor skills or with language. In this case, you're different in almost every way, and you feel powerless because first you've got people, your friends, telling you you're not the same, but you can't quite remember who you were and how you changed and how to get back to that person. And second, you're not able to do the things that you could do. You're not able to think with the same power, with the same capacity as before. And so suddenly, what I thought could last forever for me felt like it had been taken away. And I was told by my team of doctors that I would not finish college, but I would likely be high functioning. And I didn't like that term either. So what I noticed too was that as I was trying to recover I felt myself instead backing away, withdrawing, making myself smaller, not raising my hand, not sharing my ideas, not having joyful moments with friends. I was shrinking. I ended up, after 4 years of rehab, going back to college, and I finished with honors. And still, I didn't yet feel like me. I still felt afraid. I felt vigilant. I then miraculously was accepted at Princeton, and this is my graduation photo when I got my PhD at Princeton with my advisor, who I think took a huge risk accepting me. And the whole time I was there, I worked hard, I did good work, but I wasn't internalizing that. I still felt small. I felt that I had to hide. And it reminded me of something. When I was a little kid, I used to love to dig in the garden. And does everyone know what these are? I know people call them different things, roly-polies, pill bugs. But they're the little insects, and when you pick them up, they roll into that little ball. And as a kid, I always used to feel so sad. I wanted them to trust me, and they wouldn't unfurl. But I felt like that. I felt like that roly-poly. And I noticed that the same thing was happening. This roly-poly, or pill bug, or whatever you call it, is scared and is retreating. And that's exactly what I was doing. I needed to unfurl. And here's where we get to the psychology of power and powerlessness. Power activates what psychologists call the behavioral approach system. And that is what we call a motivational system that's extremely tightly intertwined with our nervous system. When the approach system is activated, when we feel powerful, it's like our brain is telling you, you are safe, everything's fine. You may approach. When we feel powerless, which is how I had been feeling for 10 years, it does the opposite. It activates the inhibition system, and we start to make ourselves smaller. And our nervous systems learn that we should be smaller and send us more signals to be even smaller. And that's like an alarm threat system that's telling us you are not safe, things are not okay, do not approach the world, step away from the world because you can't trust it. That's what was happening to me. When the approach system is activated, hundreds of studies have shown psychologists that this is what you get. People whose approach systems are activated are more trusting of others versus distrusting. They see challenges not as threats, but as opportunities, right? Even if the challenge doesn't go the way they want it to go, they know that they will get something out of it. They will learn, they will grow, they will make a new friend. We see other people, strangers. I mean, think of, you're all meeting so many new people right now. And I can clearly feel the energy in this room and how positive it is. And you're meeting these new people and having to decide quickly, are these people my friends? Are they potential allies or collaborators? Or should I be fearful of them? When the approach system is activated, we see other people as potential allies, friends, collaborators. We also have an abundance mindset, so we don't feel that somebody else's win is our loss. When the inhibition system is activated, we feel like if they get something, I've lost something. We get jealous, and we don't use that jealousy in a constructive way. We also feel just more secure in who we are, and that allows us to be our authentic best selves. And finally, and perhaps most important, because all of this is great, but doesn't that matter that much if we don't actually take action? When the approach system is activated, people step in, they take action, they do that thing that they were afraid to do. They even are more likely to help other people. So when you look at research on when do bystanders intervene to help someone during an emergency, the best predictor is people who feel that sense of personal power, right? So our personal power benefits not just ourselves, but everyone around us. So power causes action. And that is so important, right? How many moments do we spend feeling fearful about taking that step that we know we need to take if we want to be moving forward? And I want to do a little sidestep here. To be effective, we have to lead with trust. It's the only way to be effective. You can cause people to comply or obey temporarily, but that's not being an effective leader. To be an effective leader, you want to persuade people, you want to change their minds and change their actions through changing their minds. But the only way to do that is to earn and build trust. And I think, surprisingly, we walk into rooms thinking that we should just get trust. But instead, we need to walk into rooms extending trust, right? We need to be the ones who are generously trusting. And when we do that, that's when we get trust back. And personal power makes it much easier for us to extend trust. I want to tell you about this one study. It was a study of about 52,000 leaders who were rated by their own employees, kind of terrifying, on a whole list of traits. And what the researchers wanted to know is which traits, and then they were rated also on their overall leadership effectiveness. What the researchers wanted to know is which traits were the best predictors of overall leadership effectiveness. And what they found was that likability and trustworthiness was by far the best predictor. So think of it this way, 27 of those 52,000 people rated in the bottom quartile on trustworthiness and the top quartile on leadership effectiveness. In other words, if you're not trustworthy, or if your employees don't see you as trustworthy, the chance that they're going to see you as a good leader is 1 in 2,000. Right? That's what's most important. It was more important than how smart do you think they are, how decisive do you think they are. Anything else, it was trustworthiness that mattered. Trustworthiness is the first trait that we judge when we're making impressions of other people. The second one is strength, but trustworthiness comes first. Why is that? Because trustworthiness is learned first, because we need to know if this new person is friend or foe. That's the most important thing, is to assess what is this person's intentions toward me. The second is that in our overall judgments, it's weighted more heavily. So if you say, how much do you like this person, that trustworthiness rating is going to be a much heavier predictor than anything else. And third, when we make errors on trust, so for example, I'm going to use a kind of business school case. If a company has, like an engineering company, has a problem with their product, and it's a safety problem, but they quickly repair, they apologize, they acknowledge, they fix, they move forward, they do much better. That's what we call a competence error than a company that loses their customers' trust. When they lose trust, it's much harder to come back. So it is very important. Trust is the conduit of influence. It's the medium that our ideas travel through. And so that is so critical in this whole idea of personal power. Anyone familiar with Stephen Covey? And you know there are three Stephen Coveys. There's Stephen Covey Jr. and Stephen Covey Jr., who all do similar work. And all three of them always believe so deeply in the importance of trust in business relationships. And I love this quote: change moves at the speed of trust. In a high trust relationship, you can say the wrong thing and people will still get your meaning. In a low trust relationship, you can be very measured, even precise, and they'll still misinterpret you. Change moves at the speed of trust. But to get that trust, you have to trust yourself. You have to have that personal power. You need to shine your light. You need to know your light. So, back to the pill bug, I realized all this time, the head injury is my second year of college, and now I'm a professor at Harvard, and I'm still feeling powerless. And I'm about to teach my first class at Harvard Business School. And my colleagues who think they're giving me good advice, this is what they tell me. They say, these Harvard Business School students are like sharks. If they smell blood in the water, they're going to come in for the kill. So don't make mistakes. You know, it was all about competence. And by the way, I was teaching negotiation, which was an intense topic. And I'm only about 5 years older than they were at the time. And I'm, a small blonde woman. And everyone is basically saying to me, be afraid of your students. And I reconnected a few days before that with an old friend, like a childhood friend, my best friend, who's a labor and delivery nurse and one of the nicest people that I know. And she said, why can't you just go into that room and be yourself? She said, you're plenty accomplished. You've done all of these, look at all you know, look at all you've accomplished. Why would you be afraid of people? You love people, Amy. And that's when I started to unlock that personal power. And I decided that rather than go into that room and look at these 95 new faces thinking they're out to get me, I'm going to go into that room and generously extend trust to them. And that's what I got in return. Let me just say, I am in touch with almost all of those students. I know their babies. I've been to their weddings. It was exactly what I needed to do. I needed to be me. I needed to be my own loving, warm self, and that did not undermine my personal power. And so this is my first semester teaching there. And really, I couldn't have loved it more. And it really was about bringing together my personal power with trust and shining my light and sharing it with them. That's what I saw. I saw them unfurl. I saw them relax. I saw them build better relationships. So personal power allows us to be present with each other, to be in that moment, not worrying about what we think they think of us, but really hearing what's happening, really taking it in. So we're not responding to our fears, we're responding to these very real people. We're hearing them, we're seeing them. Now, I want you to bring to mind an interaction that stayed with you. It could be a meeting, It's your version of my first class. A conversation, it could be a request, an interaction with a client, something where the stakes felt very high and where you knew that you were being judged. In the end, you were at the table, but you were not in the room, right? Your body was there, but you were not there. So I want each of you to think about, what is that interaction for you? It varies greatly across people. For some people, it's standing on the stage. For other people, it's talking to one person. It could be anything. But I also want it to be something that's part of your regular work lives, something that will happen to you again. Because we're going to figure out how to hack that, how to do that better. These are the interactions that you leave feeling, that's not who I wanted to be in that moment, right? My light was dim. You know that feeling. You walk out and you know that feeling. You feel like, oh, if only I had said this, if only I had shown them who I am. Now I want you to really go there, not just what happened in the interaction and who was there or what was said, but how did I feel? And I want you to let your body right now feel that. For a moment, I want you to let yourself feel what your body did as you left that interaction. Or even as you went into it with dread, what was your body doing? Because that was informing your nervous system. Your nervous system was feeding back to your brain and telling you what to do in that interaction, and it was giving you all the wrong advice because it was telling you that you should be in fight, flee, or faint mode, that you're being chased by a tiger in the wild. But you weren't being chased by a tiger in the wild, and you didn't need to run away. But in some ways, we do. We run away from ourselves in these situations. Those moments aren't accidents. They reveal the gap between who we are and who we want to be. And we can bridge that gap. So let's go back and do it again. And now I want you to think about a meeting that you left feeling like, that felt right. That felt good. My light was bright. How did that feel when you left? Just allow your body to remember that feeling and be in that moment and enjoy that moment. We can learn to return to that state on purpose, to turn on that light again. And we can learn to share that light with others. But let's get back to the body. And by the way, I love speaking to an audience that understands the nervous system and the relationship between the body and the mind and well-being. And so it's such a joy for me to be able to talk to you about this. It's, our bodies and our minds are so disconnected. I think so many of us are disconnected, and we're so much happier and healthier when we connect these parts of ourselves. So what do our bodies do when we feel powerful and happy and grounded and good? Right? That's what we do. We throw our arms up in the air. We stick our chests out. We open our mouths. I mean, here's a toddler, right, who didn't learn to do that, but our immediate reaction to feeling that we've done something well, to feeling good, is to expand. That's what happens. People expand when they feel powerful. Not just people, but other animals as well. Across the animal kingdom, when animals feel powerful, they take up more space. They expand their chests. Some will pound their chests. Chimps can hold sticks to make their arms look longer. You see it in non-primates as well, standing on the hind legs, the ears raised. These two red pandas. I'm not really sure what's going to happen in that interaction, but you see it in snakes, right? In the cobra, you see it in swans, all kinds of birds that will make themselves look bigger. I mean, the peacock, like no better example of showing power than a peacock in so many ways. I mean, like stylish, but also, fanning and raising those tail feathers, strutting around with the chest out. And the thing is, it's not just non-human animals, it's also human animals who do the same thing. I'm going to give you a minute to laugh at that picture, because that is my husband. And I have not told this story in a while. I told him last night, I'm like, honey, your picture's going to be up there. 14 years ago, when I had just started studying power posing, I was working with a group in Australia, and this picture showed up on Facebook, and people started tagging me and telling me, you have to meet this guy. And it turned out I was working with his sister on a project, and a good friend of mine, and I asked them, I'm like, is this guy a jerk? Or does he just have a good sense of humor? And they're like, no, he's the nicest guy. And he actually is the sweetest guy. And 14 years later, we're married. We've been married for 11 years. So, now, little disclaimer here. I'm not saying that this is always effective, but one interesting thing about dating profile pictures is that, by the way, it was not a dating profile picture, it was a Facebook picture. He said, I was just testing out my new camera in my Smurf costume. Anyway, but was giving praying mantis vibes. Is that there was a study that was done looking at what people are attracted to in online dating profile pictures, and everyone, men and women, in all directions, are most attracted to images of people in confident, open postures. And I think that's really telling, because it tells you this person's comfortable with themselves. This is a little bit over the top. And honestly, the guy got lucky, as far as I'm concerned. But so did I. I got lucky too. And yes, he is that tall. Anyway, moving on from this picture. When we win, when we do something well, this is what we do. This has been studied in 36 cultures. And the question was, is there a universal body language expression of feeling powerful and proud? And so when we look at different cultures, different sports, look at what people do in the moment of winning, in that very moment when they won. They do the same thing. They raise their arms, they lift their chins, they open their mouths. They're actually making themselves very vulnerable, right, to attack, but they know they're not going to be attacked because the approach system is activated. They feel good. Their nervous systems are telling you things are good. So let's just look through all of these different sports from all over the world. And I'm sorry if I've missed your country or your sport. I try to be as inclusive as possible. Same thing everywhere. Naja, I know. I live here. I want to be a little tender about these things, but I do live in LA. So, also, this one, I don't know, does anyone remember this picture? Do we have any Brazilians here? Okay, all right. Gabriel Medina, surfer. This was in the Olympics, the last Summer Olympics, and this was an amazing moment. Like at the end of his, I don't know what you call it. What do you call it? His ride. he literally knew he had done well and immediately went into that pose before he even dropped into the water. So that's what we do. But we also do it when our teams win, because we take responsibility. We feel like maybe I'm a little bit responsible for that. And we call that basking in reflected glory. I think the most compelling evidence, though, is not only that this has been recorded in 36 cultures on 5 continents, but also that congenitally blind people do the same thing. So people who've never seen someone do this, when they win, they also adopt that expansive posture. And that's pretty powerful. That tells us that this is hardwired, that our brain knows when it feels powerful to expand. But what happens when we feel powerless? The opposite. You can clearly see whose team is winning, whose team is losing, right, in these pictures. We start to make ourselves small, even if we're physically strong. And I think that's important. Physical strength, social strength, those kinds of power, even those things aren't enough to keep us feeling personally powerful. Sometimes when we're losing, our light starts to dim and we make ourselves small. We start to shrink. And you see this across all kinds of sports. And animals do the same thing. You know, when they have less power, they wrap themselves up. They make themselves small because they don't want to be picked off by another predator, right? They don't want to offend those in charge. You see it with dogs, the tail between the legs, getting closer to the ground, the ears down. Look at the tail wrapped around the body in the fox. Across the animal kingdom, around the world, when we feel powerful, we expand, and when we feel powerless, we shrink. And so the question is, how do we unlock more of our own personal power and help others to do the same by understanding this relationship between the body and the mind? Now, one quick little piece of research here. For about 50 years, we've known that there are about 5 or 6 universal facial expressions, which means that in all cultures, this expression means the same thing, like smiling and happiness, or widened eyes and surprise. But what we also know is that it's not just reflecting the emotion. If you have people adopt a facial expression, even if they're not feeling that way, it will cause them to feel that way. And we call that facial feedback. And so what we've been doing, and hundreds of labs now around the world, is applying that same idea, but to power and posture and well-being. Our body language is not just an echo of how we think and feel and behave. It's also a force that helps to shape how we think and feel and behave. All right, so we're going to do something that I call head, shoulders, knees, and toes. Don't worry, you don't have to get up and do anything funny. What I'm going to do is summarize the research now so that you've got some really strong nuggets and takeaways about how you can reach your personal power by changing your body language. But we're going to start at the top of the body. How do we breathe? When we breathe quickly and shallowly, it's because the inhibition system is activated. We feel powerless. When we feel relaxed, when we feel powerful, we breathe deeply and slowly. So we're taking up space both in the body and temporally. If you reverse that, you get the same effect, and that is called the relaxation response. So I'm going to give you my favorite version of this, which is simply called 4-7-8 breathing, and I'm going to take you through one round of it. You inhale for 4 counts, you hold it for 7, and you exhale for 8. And I'll do the counting. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 3 rounds of that will cause your parasympathetic nervous system to send you into a relaxed, confident state. That's great to do before those challenging interactions because you are in a high arousal state and you want to be here. Don't do it if you're about to go on a long drive at night or something like that, right? It can make you very sleepy. And I actually do this to get to bed, to get to sleep at night. But simply changing our breathing changes what our nervous systems are telling our bodies, not just about ourselves, but about everything around us. Okay, let's go to speaking quickly. When we speak quickly, it's because we feel afraid and small and tight. So we're taking up less space temporally. When we speak more slowly, it's because we're feeling more relaxed and more confident. And in studies of speaking speed, what the researchers found was that not only do people see people who speak slowly as more powerful, but when you have people speak more slowly, it causes them to feel more powerful. So they read the same sentences scrolling across the screen, either quickly or slowly. They're randomly assigned to one of two conditions. The ones who read them slowly feel more powerful. So slow your speech. Pause. Those are powerful things to do, and you're taking up space. Simple posture. In clinical psychology, we know we need many other therapies to treat this major depressive disorder. When you look at these sketches, these are sketches of someone with major depressive disorder on the right, and supposedly somebody who doesn't have it, although now that we're over our phones all the time, I'm not sure that it's the posture of anyone. But what these researchers took people who had major depressive disorder and had them sit up straight for just 2 to 3 minutes, or slouch. The ones who sat up straight scored lower, so less depressive, on 29 of 30 items on the Beck Depression Inventory, meaning they measured as significantly less depressed than before they sat up straight. The same is true for people who are not depressed. If you have them sit up straight, they will feel happier. They will feel more powerful. Now, we learn to sit up straight out of respect to others, but I think it's so much about respect to ourselves. One thing I want to point out is this thing, right, which makes us slouch, and to be mindful of that because we have also studied the effects of working on a small device, so basically an iPhone, an iPad, a laptop, or a desktop, and the bigger the device, the desktop, which is clunky and old, the more powerful people felt after the study. So just be mindful, your iPhone is important, but be mindful about how you hold it. Find ways to be mindful of that so that you're not allowing yourself to be in that position all the time. Complex posture. If I were giving a talk on yoga, it would be hours long. There's now so much research on the benefits of yoga, which obviously combines postures and breathing. So I'm not going to focus on yoga specifically, but just on smaller examples. So simply adopting one open posture for 2 minutes before a painful stimulus versus a neutral posture makes people able to tolerate more pain, 50% longer than the people who had adopted the neutral pose. That's the approach system. The work now coming out on adopting expansive versus contractive postures and creativity is exactly what you would expect, but also so surprising. When we expand, our brains expand. The range of ideas that we can come up with expands. We work better on creative projects with teams. So expanding makes you more creative. How do you sleep? Do you sleep like this? Or do you sleep like this? Right? This is the general distribution of sleeping positions, and about 40% of people sleep in the fetal position. In some ways, there's some benefits to that, but we wanted to know, is that related, is that correlated with how people feel in the morning? So we did a study for 2 weeks asking people how they woke up in the morning, and then measuring their anxiety and their power, their feelings of confidence, and we found that the people who woke up like this
2, 4.
So that was the winning pose. People who had expansive upper body posture in the morning felt much less anxious and more powerful. It's hard to change how you sleep, but you can change what you do before you put your feet on the ground and get out of bed, right? You can stretch out a little bit. Before you get up, do that. The last photo with the children is from a new study being done in Germany on school kids, getting them to power pose before they go to school in the morning. It was initially focused on performance, but what they found is the kids who did that also had developed better relationships with their friends, with their teachers, were more willing to ask questions. When you look at these two sets of postures, the last slide and this one, high power and low power poses, when we have people adopt the high power poses for 2 minutes before a job interview versus the low power poses, the people who had adopted these poses perform much better and are much more likely to get the job. The interviewer has no idea that they had adopted those poses. And when we look at, well, what happened? What was different about it? The people who had adopted the poses didn't say different things in the job interview, but they said them with much more presence. They built much better relationships with the job interviewer. So finally, movement. Even walking, the walker on the right, this is motion capture sensors attached to the joints, and the walker on the right feels more powerful than the walker on the left. You can also reverse that. If you wake up in the morning and work from home, I really encourage you to just take a walk around the block, take long strides, swing your arms, more up and down, vertical bounce, like when you take up space, even if you feel silly, this is making me feel better right now. And I need to feel better right now because I'm almost out of time and I got a couple more things to show you. Okay, so take these longer strides. Movement, dance, so much work now on the importance of dance.
Distant as the Milky Way.
So dancing, moving, I live in Venice Beach now. I moved from Boston to Venice Beach, and I have a whole crew of roller skating friends. And when you dance together in sync, the neuroscience, there's a paper just came out a couple of weeks ago on the incredible benefits of moving together on happiness, on feelings of power, on the brain. This is sort of like step dancing, but on roller skates. So this is our skate crew. But you get the idea, it's pretty amazing. There we are. So again, you're sharing your light when you do that, and that's expanding your own feeling of power. This is a new National Geographic article that just came out last week on the benefits of dancing together. Even watching people dance in a synchronized way makes us feel happier. So I won't stay on that for long. Yeah. This is from a few years ago, a couple years ago. Jacob and I bonded at TED, and he wanted to hold my roller skates, which I thought was really sweet. But I think I love that you got to experience him last night, because you see, he's like from another universe. He's a special, special person. And we feel the same way about doing these things together, bringing your light out and spreading it to others. So movement matters as well. Ted Lasso fans, anyone? Okay. Just one reminder, you want to do this before you go in, if you're going to power pose, you do it before you go in to the stressful situation, not in front of people.
You don't need to be loud, Nathan. You just need to be commanding.
With all due respect, it's different for me, Miss Walton. You command every room you walk into.
Oh, hardly. Have you ever been in a room full of football club chairmen?
No.
Every time I walk into one of those meetings, they look at me like some schoolgirl with pigtails.
Oh, you'd look well filled with pigtails.
I do. But I have a secret. I make myself big. Before I go into the room, I find somewhere private. I stand up on my tiptoes, put my arms in the air, and make myself as big as possible to feel my own power. Like this.
I love that. And seriously, I almost fell off my chair when that came out because I did not know that was going to happen. All right, so adopting expansive breathing, speaking, posture, movement, often when we do it together, make us feel more powerful, more confident, more trusting, more relaxed, more happy. So personal power isn't about outshining others. It's about keeping your own light alive and bright enough to help others find their light. And this is the last story I'm going to leave you with. I talked a bit about animals, and because our nervous systems are not necessarily consciously operating. We're not in full control of them all the time, as animals are. I got an email from a woman who said, I am a horse trainer, and I use your TED Talk with my horses, which I thought was strange. So I dug a little more. She trains horses that are having anxiety and real issues after medical problems. These are all Icelandic ponies. She was working with a horse called Vafi, V-A-F-I, who she said would not interact with the other horses. He was rubbing the fur off his forehead against the fences, and she said, I knew I had to get him to power pose. And I was like, well, I don't get, I love animals, but I didn't grow up with horses, and I don't really understand, I didn't understand. She said, look, horses play like tiger cubs or kittens or puppies. They rear and pounce. They emulate the airs and graces of other powerful horses. And that's how they connect with each other. So if he won't do that, he won't interact with the other horses, he's not going to heal well. So she said, I made this giant cat toy. You can see there's a stick with a kind of wire and a ball on the end. For 2 afternoons, she ran around the pasture and had Vafi chase this. And it caused him to emulate those behaviors, those power poses. She said, I did not expect it to do much. I just thought at the very least I'd be giving him exercise. But when I put him back out with the other horses, he became the most powerful, dominant horse in the group. And he went on to go to competitions and win competitions. So she tells me this story, and I said, I love this story, Kathy, but it's one horse. And it's possible that it was the affection you gave him that changed him. And she was like, you are a wet blanket. Like, that's a really inspiring story, like about a horse. So she said, all right, give me a few months then. And a few months later, this showed up in my email inbox. Kathy is now working with horses and trainers all over the world with veterinary programs. They've had tremendous success. We're not horses, but we're animals, and our nervous systems are doing the same things. We're not very good at talking ourselves down when we're anxious, but we can walk ourselves down. And I've never done this, but I love this light theme. Can we just end with everyone standing in a power pose, but with their lights on their cameras? Can you turn your lights on? I would love to see those lights shining. To each other, right? Like, it is, it's not just about your light. Look at this collective light. Look at this room. This is beautiful. Thank you so much. It's been such an honor to be here. Enjoy every minute of this conference. Thank you. Okay, bye.
Everything we're made of contains light. From the sun that feeds our world to the energy that flows within us. With Lifewave X39, we've found a way to put that light to work. With X39, we achieved something remarkable in the field of wellness and science that others could not. By utilizing Lifewave's unique patented technology, X39 uses light to elevate GHK-Cu, a copper peptide known to support overall health and wellness. Unlike traditional light therapy, X39 uses the body's own infrared light to naturally increase vitality. By gently stimulating the skin with light, our non-invasive, non-transdermal X39 patches help you conquer your active lifestyle and pave a new way to vibrant health. Becoming a powerhouse is easier than you think. It all starts with your body and a little help from light. Place one Lifewave X39 patch on the body. Apply the patch to clean, dry skin in the morning. Patches may be worn for up to 12 hours before discarding. Keep well hydrated while using this product. Harness your natural potential. Reclaim youthful energy. Live long, live well, live young with Lifewave X39. Be the light. Lifewave.
Who's sitting up a little bit straighter after that one? I have a 3-month-old son at home, and I unswaddle him every morning. That's exactly how he wakes up. So tomorrow morning, that's exactly what I'm going to do. Thank you so much, Amy Cuddy, for that inspiring keynote. Amy reminds us how presence shapes performance and how confidence is built not just for ourselves, but for everyone we lead. All right, let's give her one more big round of applause. That was amazing. Thank you so much, Dr. Cuddy. And as we move forward, we're shifting from inspiration to celebration. It is time to recognize outstanding achievements across our global community. To do that, please welcome your regional heads. President of Europe, the Middle East, Africa, Australia, and New Zealand, Christian Dorner. President of the Asia Pacific region, Dr. Edward Chu. And Regional Vice President of North America, Janine Weber.
Where's your pose?
Power pose.
Power pose. I wanted to do that one, but I can't lift my arms that high in this dress. It is such a pleasure to be with you today, this morning, to have time to honor some of our achievers. And these are key achievers from each of our regions across 3 metric-based awards. This year, one top achiever will be announced from each region as well as one overall global achiever. So the first award recognizes top brand partners who have enrolled the most customers.
For Asia Pacific region, congratulations to Dennis Morales from Philippines.
For the EMEA region from Great Britain, congratulations to Jill Osman.
And for North America, congratulations to Michael Jaco from the United States. Woo! All right, it looks like Michael isn't with us right at this exact moment, so I will accept this on his behalf, and we will move to our top global award. In terms of global achievement, the top global customer sponsor award goes to Jay Adkins and Jimena Duque Adkins from the United States. What do you think has been the key to building such strong customer relationships?
The first key is sorry. My beautiful wife is the first key because she's been helping me in this business. And sorry, I'm just a little emotional because she's not here. And I wish she was here, but also just it's a focus. This product, you guys, our philosophy is, and we heard this last year from Paolo from Dubai, is it's our social responsibility to share this with every single person. I just wanted you guys to hear this loud and clear. David Schmidt has created something absolutely amazing. We have something in our hands that is a gift to humanity, and you cannot let one single human being pass you by without mentioning this device to them and changing humanity. If you're here in this room, you're called to do something great for humanity, and that's what David Schmidt has done, and he has given us the greatest gift of all time. Do not waste this opportunity.
Well said. So powerful. Thank you so much. Congratulations, everyone.
Okay. Our second awards honor the top brand partner with the most personal sponsorship. In APAC, congratulations to Coach G from Malaysia. Coach G wasn't able to travel to the conference this year, so accepting an award will be her daughter, Azalin Safia Azuki.
From the India region, congratulations to a gentleman from Germany, to Stefan Livui. Stefan also was last minute not able to travel over to conference, but on his behalf, our Vice President of Sales, Claudia Hartneck, will accept the award. Stefan, if you are watching the live stream, congratulations to you. This is your award.
And in North America, congratulations to Ralph Kennard and Monica Pascalato. Ralph and Monica were also not able to travel to conference this year at the last minute, so accepting the award on their behalf and presenting it to them next week is their regional sales manager, Geraldo Dorelli. And now, the Global Top Brand Partner Sponsor Award goes to Carlos Garcia and Rochelle Diaz from North America. What's one thing that you feel like you have really learned about leadership through building your team?
Oh, wow. First, this is not our award. This is not our business. Our upline, our leadership, but most importantly, this doesn't belong to us. It belongs to God. You know, it's just a platform. God has blessed us with a platform to reach thousands of people, and we've been so blessed, and it's just another opportunity for us to show God's grace. And if we could save somebody's life, introducing them to Jesus, this is what God has given us to do. And we've ran our whole team based on our faith and connecting people with a purpose a lot bigger than just making money, or it's transforming lives, and that's how we've built our team and our business.
Well said.
Thank you so much. Come through.
Our third award celebrates the top brand partners with the highest number of personally sponsored rank advancements. In EMEA, this award highlights those who are building strong leadership. We were talking social responsibility. Welcome Paulo and Liliana Alves.
In Asia Pacific, we are proud to recognize leaders who are developing new achievers. Again, congratulations to Coach G from Malaysia. Coach G wasn't able to travel with us, so accepting on award on behalf will be her daughter, Azlin Safia Azuki.
And in North America, we applaud the leaders who are raising up the next generation of achievers. Congratulations to David and Terry Miller. And the global highest personally sponsored rank advancement award goes to Carlos Garcia and Rochelle Diaz from the United States. Well, now you each get to speak. What does it mean to you to see others achieve new ranks and step into their own leadership?
That's the purpose of this business for us. First, God, all the glory to God. Always we say it. For us, this is a ministry, and we love our team. We love to see people transform their life. And we do know that it's because of God. But also, I want to say some stuff in Spanish. Is that okay?
Yes.
A todos los latinos, señores, el año pasado éramos menos, pero esta vez somos más y todos somos un mismo equipo. Y es para llevar luz a todo el mundo. Así que latinos, ¡vamos! Gracias.
Congratulations to all of our regional and global achievers. These awards represent the heart of our business: sponsorship, customer growth, and the development of new leaders. You are the ones setting the pace and inspiring the future of Lifewave. Thank you.
Thank you.
Latinos, I like that representation. All right, let's give one more round of applause to our achievers, to their regional sales leadership, Christian, Edward, and Janine. We're going to see them later on this afternoon. But up next, we are privileged to hear once again from founder and chairman David Schmidt.
Well, you've all had your Celergize this morning, obviously. You're all wide and awake. We have a lot of information to cover. I'm going to be here for a while. You can sit down, relax. We got plenty of time together. It's all okay. Speaking of Celergize morning, you probably have been asking yourself some questions about when is the best time of the day to take it. How do I combine it with patches? how do I take all of that information that was presented yesterday and combine this into a daily program or schedule so I have a system that I can use for producing predictable results. So that's what we're going to be talking about now, is about designing a schedule. So the first thing, as you hear me say very often on our Lifewave Connect, is that I am not a medical doctor. I am not providing medical advice. We are not making any type of medical claims. So if we're all okay and good with that, what I would recommend that you do, if you find something here that is of interest, take this to a practitioner so you can customize this and design it into a program that will suit your particular needs, since everyone is going to be different. So, some of the objectives that we have in this daily program is, first, we want to spend the minimum amount of time to produce the best results. Everyone's time is very valuable. We're valuable with time that we need to spend with our families, at our business, so we may not have a lot of extra time to put into a health program. So we want to look at strategies so we're not in a gym 2 hours a day, for example. You're welcome. Make sure that you have your foundation in place. So if you don't have a healthy diet, if you're not exercising, if you're not hydrating, don't expect to get the best outcome or the best results. This is a holistic program, and we need to think about this in its entirety. So getting your healthy nutrition, and that can mean a variety of different things, which we'll discuss. Having a daily program of exercise, even if it's something at a minimum, making sure you're managing stress, getting proper sleep, drinking enough water during the day, not using stimulants to the point where it's degrading your body, supplementing to fill in the gaps, and of course using technology like the patches to take things to another level. Now, the program that we're going to look at is a sample only. So for example, if one of your outcomes that you desire is to be a professional or Olympic athlete or be a bodybuilder, this is not going to be the program for you. This is a program that is designed for health and longevity. So keep that in mind. Also, if you have a specific medical condition, this might not be the program for you. So there are countless ways of changing this sample. This is just to give you an idea of a direction that you can go in, but there's many different variations. So you may come across a technology like an infrared sauna, and you say, well, I want to use infrared sauna once or twice a week for detoxification. You can obviously build that in to an overall program. And speaking of that, I haven't attempted to include any number of other therapies that you might want to try. So, for example, one of the technologies and therapies you hear me talk about regularly is ozone therapy. Getting IV ozone therapy, hyperbaric oxygen as a means to supporting an overall program of treating a variety of different diseases. We haven't included any of those things. Okay, so first thing is you want to start off your day with the correct mindset. And part of that is meditation or prayer. Now, there are clinical studies that show, and I have one here as an example, that prayer is shown to not only improve your mood, but also reduce stress. So, when I wake up in the morning and I wake up next to my beautiful wife, the first thing that I do is tell her how grateful I am that I have the opportunity to wake up next to her each morning. So, What I have found as a husband, if you start off the day by thanking your wife and being grateful for her, the rest of the day tends to go pretty well. So husbands, take notice. And I think the same is true with God. If we pray and give thanks to the Lord, who has blessed us with so many incredible things in our lives, if we start off the day with prayer, it's an awesome thing. So I would encourage you to do that. Okay, now, many times of the day that you could exercise, I usually wake up at 5:30, 6 a.m., and then I head straight to the gym. And I have a gym in my home, so it's relatively easy. I wake up, I take a few minutes to prepare, get my clothes out, set the day, and then I head to the gym. And given how hectic and long my days are, being able to go to the gym is therapeutic. So I encourage you to set aside that time in the morning to exercise, and that can be a quiet space. Now, there's a few different options here which are pretty interesting. Many people use coffee as a pre-workout. They use a variety of different pre-workout formulas. Could be branched-chain amino acids, could be nitric oxide. Many of you may want to try to use X2O along with an amino acid formula as a pre-workout. There's a lot of options here. I want to talk to you about a variety of different options. First, with caffeine. This is a really interesting one. First of all, there is no question that caffeine will improve exercise performance. As a matter of fact, for the Olympics, if people consume too much caffeine and they get blood tested, they can be banned from competing. So no question, caffeine improves exercise performance. The problem is that it induces a lot of oxidative stress on the body. So you have to use it with caution. Now there's an interesting way to use caffeine, and that is if you have it before exercise, not only will it improve exercise performance, but it will assist in the damage that occurs to muscle tissue so that when you go into a state of rest, that you can build more muscle. But the key here is not to have the caffeine post-exercise. If you use Celergize as a pre-workout, that contains citrulline and potassium, and both of those will fuel the production of nitric oxide. Nitric oxide, likewise, will increase exercise performance and is suitable for pre-workout. Those among you that have injuries that have been difficult to heal, or let's say that you have a loss of cartilage, there are now new studies that show if you take amino acids before exercise, and this is now I'm referring to resistance training, it will drive those amino acids into the muscle tissue and you'll get better muscle protein synthesis. So having that window of time, and if you also add, if you're looking to generate new cartilage, getting a collagen supplement and vitamin C, which triggers collagen, which triggers cartilage production and collagen production, will assist in repair of damaged tissue in the body. So nutrient timing is extremely important. And here's a study that will reference that. Okay. Now, when you get to your resistance training or your cardio, you have a number of interesting options here. And you don't have to be in the gym 6 days a week to get the best results. What's interesting is that Steve and Gina love that idea. And you know what's extraordinary about that is Steve is a world champion athlete, and Steve loves to train and be in the gym. So, but I know you appreciate time and efficiency. So you don't have to be in the gym 5 or 6 days a week. As a matter of fact, if you speak with exercise scientists, you speak with professional bodybuilders, which we've worked with a lot of Olympic professional athletes, bodybuilders over the years. And interestingly enough, many of them say that the biggest breakthrough in bodybuilding was when people went to only exercising one muscle 1 day per week. And there's a variety of ways of doing that. And that's because if you're applying a lot of pressure to the muscle, you're also creating damage to the tendon. So your muscles will recover within a period of about 2 or 3 days, but your tendons need more time to recover, 5 to 7 days. So if you're doing the work, you can actually recover. You only have to exercise a specific muscle group once per week, if the resistance is there. So these are very, very powerful tools. So a potential strategy that you can employ is to do your resistance training twice a week. So you break down the muscle groups into pushing and pulling groups, for example. And you do your resistance training twice a week and your cardio twice a week. So lest you think that this isn't going to do anything, let's look at an interesting approach here. Now, this would be a technique, a strategy that you could use if you hadn't exercised in a very long period of time. Time does not permit us to have a discussion on how to incorporate various strategies of volume into exercise, meaning multiple sets, multiple repetitions, what is the right range. All depends on the outcome. Again, if you're looking just to be in shape, that's one type of exercise. If you're looking to go to the extreme and be a professional athlete or bodybuilder, totally different strategy. So let's say you're an average American who doesn't really like to exercise, doesn't get into the gym. This is not Renita Brannon. We're going to take someone that maybe doesn't like to exercise and wants to put in the minimum amount of time. Maybe you haven't been in the gym or trained for 10 years. There's a technique called static contraction training, and it allows you to exercise 1 day a week for about 5 minutes, 10 if you consider a warm-up, and get fantastic results starting off. There's only 5 exercises, and you work out 10 seconds per exercise to start. I have this equipment in my home because we're doing a clinical study on it. So your entire workout is 50 seconds. You sit on the equipment, you do something like a bench press, apply 10 seconds of maximum pressure in your strongest range. Then you get off, you reset the machine, and you go to the next exercise. 50 seconds total, once per week. And these are the type of results that people get. We're doing a study on this with X39 to see how far we can really push this. I'll give you an example for myself, and again, keep in mind, I'm 62. Just this past month, on this machine in at maximum contraction, I bench pressed 331 pounds, and about 3 weeks ago, I had a maximum belted squat of 480 pounds. So when you can put this amount of pressure on your muscle, very short period of time can induce a stimulus. Now, I'm also doing other exercise. As I did this for a few months, got incredible results, and then started to add additional exercise and volume to take it up even more. Now, we are also working with a scientist at a university that discovered this revolutionary method of performing cardiovascular exercise, cardio, where you have a 3-minute warm-up, you sprint as fast as you can for 20 seconds, then you go through another period of rest, and then you sprint again for 20 seconds. 40 seconds of exercise, twice per week. Now, This piece of equipment is called a Carol bike. This is called a rehit method. And you can do this on a treadmill. So if you do this on a treadmill, what you do is you walk very slowly for a period of 3 minutes. Then you set the treadmill at the steepest incline possible. You set it at the fastest setting that you can run. And again, if you're just starting off, I recommend that you go slowly, work with your doctor so you don't get injured, but you sprint as fast as you can on that incline for 20 seconds, rest for 3 minutes, and then repeat. You can also obviously do this on an exercise bike. The advantage of this specific bike is that everything is automated and it keeps track of your result. But incredibly, this method of training, 8 weeks of it, shows that your cardiovascular health improves, and that 80 seconds of exercise is equivalent to 90 minutes of steady state cardio. So this is an incredibly efficient way of training. I've been doing this now, and the change is absolutely remarkable. I love it. So that's all you do. Okay. Now, an example of how you might structure this is Mondays, you do your resistance training. Tuesdays, you can do your cardio, all 10 minutes of it, or 40 seconds, depending on how you look at it. Take a day off, do your resistance training again, and then another cardio session. That's just an example. Okay. Now you can do your post-workout. So if you're fasting, then you would just have X2O and Celergize as an example, or you could use branched chain amino acids, but you want to keep the calories to around 30 calories or so if you're going into a fasted state and you're not going to eat until, let's say, 11 a.m. But you should at least hydrate, take your electrolytes after training, and these are some options. Okay, so for patches, we have a number of options about what you might use in the morning. A very good protocol today is X39 on the back of the neck, X49 below the belly button. You can use a third patch if you wished, and then a set of energy and patches if you wish to use that as well. But a basic system of X39, X49 works great. If you're suffering in pain, you would obviously want to use Icewave. If you're going for appetite control, SP6, glutathione, carnosine. Glutathione if you're looking for detoxification, carnosine for additional athletic performance. So you tune these and use these all depending on what outcome it is that you're looking for. But again, the basics work very well. Okay, and then you head to work, presumably, let's say, at 8 a.m., and you get started. Interestingly, Richard Branson has attributed exercising in the morning as one of his keys to success at working long hours and getting a lot of things done. Now, if you have coffee post-exercise, I'd recommend decaf, and especially if you are in a fasted state, decaf coffee is an excellent tool for blunting hunger. So you can think about it that way, black coffee. But again, I don't recommend using a lot of caffeine. And again, caffeine post-exercise, there's some literature that shows that it may interfere with anabolic metabolism. You could say that the jury is out with this. So I'll let you decide. But in any case, too much caffeine is going to impair your objective of longevity. So let's say that you're going to have your first meal at 11 a.m. You want to start with a good way to structure a meal is to first look at the amount of protein that you need. And we want to have enough protein to support not only muscle protein synthesis, but support of hormones and also tissue repair. So an example is about 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight as a general target. Could be a little bit less or more than that. And then also some healthy fats. Good examples of healthy fat would be extra virgin olive oil, as we discussed yesterday. So how do we calculate all of this? If we were to look at a woman, let's say, that weighed about 120 pounds, that would be 120 grams per day of protein. And depending on whether or not you're a man or a woman would depend upon how many meals per day that you would break that across. Keep in mind, there is a relationship between levels of growth hormone and levels of insulin. So there may be some of you here today that are interested in burning fat, right? Okay, just testing, make sure you guys are awake. I know I'm going very quickly because we have a short period of time. So consider this. When we're eating, we're triggering release of insulin. And the purpose of insulin is to store calories as fat. When we're in a fasted state, when we're not eating, that's when we're going to trigger our body's levels of growth hormone. And what does growth hormone do? It triggers the metabolism of fat for conversion over into energy. So the longer that we're in a fasted state, the longer that we increase our growth hormone and are burning fat for fuel, the more often that we eat, the more often that we're staying in a state where we're triggering insulin and storing calories as fat, and we're not metabolizing fat for energy. So there is some logic here. If you speak with athletes, well, they'll say, well, eating twice per day and getting your daily protein and healthy fats into those 2 meals is better than spreading your meals across 4, 5, 6 times per day because of that very phenomena. So that's something to consider. So we could start out with your body weight. That's going to determine the amount of protein that you get. And then from there, you can calculate as a starting point about 1/3 of your calories from healthy fats. Again, I really stress the importance of having extra virgin olive oil. Now, the balance of this is going to be in carbohydrates, and carbohydrates are completely unnecessary. You don't need carbohydrates as for survival. Your body can be completely driven off of proteins and fats. So with that extra 1/3 of calories, you can shift that between additional fat, additional protein, but it doesn't have to come from carbohydrates, and in fact, it's probably desirable that it doesn't come from carbohydrates. It also could mean that you could take the amount of carbohydrates down to about 10% or so and still get all the advantages of a low carbohydrate diet without having to go into ketosis, for example. Okay, let's keep this moving along. And we covered this a little bit yesterday about extra virgin olive oil, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that now, but there's too many reasons to list as to why you should be consuming this each day, and maybe someday, I don't know, I'm not making any promises, maybe there will be a light infused olive oil. We'll see. But keep in mind, many people resort to using drugs like Ozempic for weight loss, and you have to balance this out between the negatives of being overweight. But keep in mind that olive oil is effective at triggering GLP-1. So you can actually get the benefits of something that activates GLP-1 without having to go to Ozempic. Now, in terms of overall life extension, when we're looking at nutrients to supplement with, one thing that's interesting is plain old vitamin B3, niacin. Niacin, of course, has many different forms. You could be taking a regular niacin, niacinamide, the inositol-based form of niacin, but the important thing is that this will contribute to formation of NAD, and NAD, of course, resets 2 of the sirtuin genes to a more healthy state. You could spread out your meals over 3 times, taking a healthy snack in the afternoon, and then dinner. Again, I'd strongly encourage eating early so it doesn't interfere with the quality of your sleep, and having that be focused on protein and healthy fats. About 8 p.m., you would remove your daytime patches, and this would be a time around 9 p.m. or so to have your Celergize PM. And we discussed the formula yesterday, so we won't get into that now. You can apply the evening patches now, and you have a variety of different options. So obvious choices would be Silent Nights, Eon, Alavida. Eon is an excellent choice because it reduces stress on the nervous system. If you have any inflammation in the body, Eon helps to manage that inflammation. On a long speaking day like this, I'll put the Eon patch on my throat in the evening, so this morning I'm all fresh and ready to go, and lots of opportunities for different patch placements. Glutathione I would not recommend as an evening patch because it causes detoxification and you may end up with a headache in the morning. So just be aware of that. If you're going to use glutathione at night, make sure that you're properly hydrated. Carnosine, because carnosine is stored in the brain. Some of you that use the carnosine patch in the evening, you may find that you're mentally alert the whole night, or it gives you very intense dreams. Some of you may want those intense dreams. That's up to you. So that's something to consider. And then let's say that you were going to get to sleep about 11 o'clock or so. Make sure that you're taking the time to think about the environment that you're creating for your sleep. So make sure that you're not getting any excessive light into the room. Don't use cell phones, tablets about an hour or so before going to sleep. There's been some studies that have shown if you keep your feet warm, it improves circulation and improves the quality of sleep. So there's a number of these different biohacks that you can do to improve the quality of your sleep. Then just 2 interesting notes on some research that we're doing on what we've learned from lobsters. Interestingly enough, lobsters have a diet that's very rich in clams, and clams is the highest food source of vitamin B12. And why is that important? It's because B12, methylcobalamin, is a methylation factor and is responsible for controlling gene expression. So we're looking at using B12 in a new and novel way to reset genes to a more youthful state. And we're learning this from lobsters. And then astaxanthin. Astaxanthin is also found in lobsters, and interestingly enough, I don't have time to get into it today, but the clinical studies on astaxanthin show that it's responsible for repairing and protecting DNA. And what we found through our studies is that if you take the numerical data in the story of the tree of life, it points to the exact wavelengths that are found in astaxanthin that are responsible for repairing DNA. So in other words, the tree of life predicts what happens in lobsters with astaxanthin that prevents the lobsters from aging. I think I said that right. Okay, so that's a very interesting supplement. Okay, so that's a lot of information. Sorry to hit you with it so quickly, but we do need to keep some things moving along. Thank you. Okay, so right now I would like to welcome back to the stage our president. Now, I'm going to tell you that since I did this for the majority of our history, be the operational president of the company, it is a tremendous amount of work, a tremendous commitment. There are long hours, there's a lot of travel, a lot of responsibility, and we are very blessed to have someone as amazing as Meredith in this role, doing this job. not only that, but when Meredith and I speak about Lifewave and the future and the vision as to where we're going, she shares the same vision that I have. And what she never talks about the money the company is earning or any of that. What she always says is, this company is here, it's such a blessing, we're gonna help so many people. So that's the type of person we have as president. So please welcome Meredith Burkich.
To join David in presenting this incredible award, the Lifewave Enlightenment Award for each of our 3 global regions. This award is given to brand partners at the presidential director or above who lead their organizations with the highest level of integrity and authenticity.
These brand partners are also collaborative, with their cross-line leaders and regional corporate teams generously sharing the light for everyone's benefit. In addition to these qualities, they are setting the pace in a number of categories.
When it comes to the metrics, each of these recipients is leading the way in their brand partner and customer enrollments, leading their team to the highest number of rank advancements, and helping the most team members earn incentive trips. So, these are the leaders who are leading in both the qualitative and the quantitative measures.
So, representing Asia Pacific, please have a congratulations to Christine Kitasako. America, a big round of congratulations to Jay Adkins. Thank you for everything that all of you have done this year. Now, let's introduce our global achievers who have gone above and beyond as leaders in 2025. The Global Enlightenment Award achievers this year are Carlos Garcia and Rochelle Diaz. So, my wife Christina and I got an opportunity to have dinner with the two of you, with our leadership group in Newport Beach. And this was the first time that we had met. And I have to tell you that the two of us were just so impressed what beautiful human beings you are and the hearts that the two of you have. And you know, this is an industry where very often people have their priorities on material things and money. And what we discussed was how you're going to be using the business to bring people to the Lord, how to bring healing around the world. And that was just so beautiful and refreshing. And Christina and I are very much looking forward to having the opportunity to have dinner with the two of you again and know you better. And so please tell us a little bit about your mission and your success and how you got here.
Well, again, we're surrounded by amazing people, from Jay, which is my best friend, my brother, Kyle, Sarah, Devin, Mike, Saeed, Steve, Gina, and it's just, and everybody's on the same page. We just want to save people, get people to the Lord, give them a business that they're proud of, with a company that they're proud of, that has values, that has beliefs, and we just want to change the world, and we're aligned with the perfect place to do that.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Carlos. Thank you. Congratulations. It's well earned, well deserved. Thank you. For these amazing leaders. Everybody. Okay. This company is nothing without great leadership, and we have certainly some amazing people that we have to be so appreciative for. We also need, and I need to appreciate the people that I work with every day. And this next fellow, he and I first met in 2005 through networking, and we quickly became good friends over the period of that 20 years. One thing that you may not know about him is that he is in the Direct Selling Hall of Fame, and prior to coming in on board with Lifewave, he was associated with projects that generated over $1.5 billion in sales. And when Jim and I are working on projects together, we're always thinking about how can we spread the word of Lifewave, build awareness in an environment that's not selling, so we're communicating the correct values about the company. He is incredibly hardworking. Anytime I want to call him day or night, any time zone, he's always there. And for that reason, we want to honor Jim Caldwell today with the Outstanding Employee Service Award.
Well, you're always full of surprises. That's for sure. Thank you very much, David. This is a beautiful thing. I'm so appreciative.
Jim, it's been such an honor to work with you over these past 20 years. And there's really no words that can express my appreciation and thanks for everything that you've done for the company, the Welcome Center that we're going to talk about in just a moment, Code of Creation, X39 launch, so many projects you've been involved with. The original Icewave video that we did all came from the mind of Jim Caldwell. So Jim, again, thanks for an amazing 20 years of service.
David, thank you so much. Thank you. Appreciate that. You know, as we all know, working with David is a one of a kind. And it's a great privilege to be able to have this opportunity to create, think, speculate, live in the world of wonder. What's possible? What if we did this? What if we did that? And to have the opportunity to think things through with you from time to time on some of these things is a remarkable experience, and I thank you for that.
Thank you, Jim. So you may not want to hold that the entire time, so we can put that down on the table. And
all right, thanks.
Speaking of surprises,
yeah,
we get to unveil a surprise now.
Well, he mentioned the Welcome Center, and I had a couple of questions. I'm just kind of curious. We've all heard of it. How many people have had the opportunity to go to the Welcome Center? Quite a few. How many would like to or intend to go to the Welcome Center?
And this is important because the video that you're going to see in a few minutes here.
Now, careful now.
Was entirely filmed in the Lifewave home office. So we didn't use any Hollywood sets or staging. It was all filmed in our offices. So for those of you that haven't been there yet, you get a good idea of what you will see when you go there.
But this was his idea, right? So we took a couple of years to make this place, which is a whole thing, and we're going to put something together about that in the form of a documentary. But think about him coming to me and saying, hey, can't we shoot a movie in the Welcome Center like Star Trek? And I was like, what?
Well, yeah, I mean, the basic idea is we spent an enormous amount of money and time and energy going into that Welcome Center. So the idea was we wanted to make this an investment, giving back into the community, and have our home office in Utah be a showpiece, a place that you could work from and bring in people, introduce them to Lifewave, and going into the office and the Welcome Center, it feels like you're stepping into the future. And of course, we had the incredible Mr. Doug Drexler, who did the design work. Doug is an Academy Award winner, Peabody Award winner, and had worked with Gene Roddenberry on Star Trek: The Next Generation, and has been associated with Star Trek for 40 years. So when you go to our Welcome Center, it feels like you're stepping into the Star Trek universe.
And it's through that relationship that we realized that there is such a story to how that Welcome Center came together. And so you and I did decide to talk through and think about, well, what would a documentary or a docu-story look like if we produced something? But then we were thinking, okay, yeah, let's try to do that. But then, you keep thinking, you keep creating, and then you said, well, wait a minute, can't we do something while we're doing that maybe we could create something that maybe could go viral? Maybe we could go out there in some manner where people would actually enjoy looking at that and tell others, right?
So what you're about to see is a video that we believe has the opportunity to go viral, that you can use this as a tool for people to learn about Lifewave in a non-selling, really fun way. And as Jim and I were throwing around this idea, we thought, well, if we could get him to be a part of this,
Before you say
it would be amazing.
Yeah, and so when we talk about viral, we're going to actually, before you see it, just understand you're going to see a version that's appropriately to be used in a certain way, but we'll have other versions that indeed will allow us to perhaps flip a switch and do some things so that we have a lot of incentives rattling around within the internet space where people are seeing this and in fact are sharing it, and we hope to be able to generate a ton of leads because of it. So there's multiple things going on here with this movie. And would you like to go ahead and run
This
it?
is a lead generation tool for our community that we know is going to get millions of views. So please enjoy our short clip video here of the world's oldest intern. Hit it.
I've lived a long life. I've done a lot of things, but I've never been an intern.
I'm the founder, sure, but I'm also an inventor. My latest experiment? Hire William Shatner. But as an intern. No way I can afford that guy full-time.
Hi, I'm Alicia. I'm gonna be your trainer for today.
Hi, Alicia. Hi, Alicia.
William Shatner?
Yeah, well, you can call me Bill. Or intern. Sorry to interrupt.
No, that's just fine. Today I'm gonna be taking you on a tour of our Welcome Center.
I hear they have something like a captain's bridge in the Welcome Center. Feels like you're traveling through space.
We have an award-winning production designer
This I gotta see.
for decades, and hey, Bill!
No, please, no sci-fi today. I'm just here as an intern, that's it. I just beamed in. Yeah, I know that look. I get that look whenever I sneak around, and you're sneaking. Go away. I'm busy. Jackpot. You didn't see a thing. Oh. People gotta see this.
Bill! Who let you in here?
He let me in here.
Bill? Captain?
Oh, you gotta get out here. The old intern who looks an awful lot like me, he's messing things up.
But wait, aren't you?
Yeah, it's a sci-fi thing. Come on.
Oh, excuse me. David, was that? Is that in budget?
There you are. Come on. Back to the group.
People gotta see this.
I know. It's a part of the tour.
Oh.
Yeah.
Are you ready for me? Doug. Bill? Doug? Bill! Doug! Bill! For goodness.
Do you know Doug?
Do I know Doug? Star Trek designer on props and sets and the spaceships and this?
Came out beautifully, huh?
Oh, Doug is...
Hey, Bill.
Oh.
One of your clones said you're causing trouble.
You're taking the word of a clone?
Personally, I always go with the original.
That's a good idea.
I have a question. Are you really going to be an intern here?
Yeah, why not? But first, I gotta tell you about the Welcome Center here at the Lifewave offices.
Okay, this is a commercial. Got it.
No. It's a kind of soft sell. No, just a simple suggestion, really. You absolutely have to get back to the person who shared this video with you. I had a great time exploring the Lifewave Welcome Center, experiencing their amazing life-changing technology, and learning about the opportunities surrounding one of the fastest-growing companies on the planet. And you will too. So check them out and just tell them Bill sent you. The real Bill, not that sci-fi clone.
Bill, we're waiting.
Oh. Okay. Hey, duty calls. Back to interning. Bye-bye.
Wow. Okay. So, what do you think about that little vignette from Meredith? I think Hollywood is calling. So, you know, Doug Drexler, right? Designer, you saw him there. He's here, and we want to bring him out and take a moment, because without him, we wouldn't have the Welcome Center, we wouldn't have Bill Shatner. There's lots of things to this guy we want to bring out right now. Doug Drexler, please come on out. What in the world do you have in your hand?
Well, you know, this was a secret, just like Shatner was a secret, but you know, we love that Gene Roddenberry universe that we're fortunate to play in, and this is actually one of Gene Roddenberry's golf clubs.
Oh my God. You're kidding.
No, I'm not.
Oh my goodness.
So there's a lot of good energy in there.
Did you bring a ball?
You know, I'm still buzzing from watching the Code of Creation, which is really an amazing, amazing film. And you know, it's so amazing that I hardly feel worthy of being up here.
Oh gosh.
But I'll tell you something. When we talk about the Code of Creation, there's the Code of Inspiration. And when I see your film, and I see Star Trek in there, and know that Star Trek had something to do with you being who you are.
Yes.
Well, yes. I have to tell you, not you, I have to tell all of you that a better human being you will not find than Doug Drexler. He has reached, to keep this in perspective, he has reached the pinnacle in his industry, being with Star Trek now over 40 years, working with some of the greats in that industry. And Doug is incredibly humble, always ready to serve, always ready to put in the extra effort to do a great job, and just a beautiful human being. And I love the fact that we've been able to share Bible passages with one another and some of our faith and beliefs. So thank you, Doug.
You know, I mean, I realize that God put you where you are to do what you're doing, and I got put into a position where I help create inspiration for people to want to do the kind of stuff that you do.
Well, everything that I'm doing today, in part, is because of Star Trek and the inspiring future of Star Trek. And what you might not know is that both Doug and I fulfilled a mutual childhood dream, which was the day that we were on set with William Shatner. Doug had been working on Star Trek for more than 40 years and never had been in a scene with William Shatner until the one in the Welcome Center.
Absolutely nuts. Yeah, so thank you. What a wonderful, I mean, Lifewave and you and Jim here. I've worked with a lot of amazing people, and you guys are in the top, tippy top tier.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, let's get a picture. Come on.
Let's get a picture.
Come on.
A picture.
Take the shot. Come on, people.
Well, we don't want to exit yet. We wanted to just take a few more minutes to talk about the Welcome Center and the Welcome Center documentary, which is yet another tool.
Well,
so
turn around.
Oh, what am I doing? Oh,
yeah, chill out. We want you up here a few more minutes, brother.
oh, okay.
Okay. So,
Turn around. Do this.
I didn't say that like I didn't say that like Hulk Hogan, right? You're going to be up here a few minutes more, brother. Right? I didn't say it that way. Okay. Where was I? We're talking about the Welcome Center. And that video was shot in our office and in our Welcome Center. And we put in a tremendous amount of money, time, and energy, a design effort back and forth to build that out, because you can use it as a tool to see where Lifewave has been as a company, where we are today with our products, and where we're going in the future. And for those brand partners and leaders that have been there, it's incredibly inspiring. So definitely get out to our headquarters in Utah and see the Welcome Center.
We're proud of it.
Very proud. Well, let's talk a minute or two about the design process and what you had to go through to take it to where it is today.
Well, you know, I mean, first of all, to work with these guys who are, they're so easy to work with. I mean, I've worked with so many producers and directors, and you'll get a lot of them who don't want to hear your idea. If it's not their idea, it's no good. Or we were talking about how you have to learn to make them think that they thought of it to be able to sell an idea. But it was just a joy. We had so much fun. And we went through a lot of different iterations of the thing. You know, you start with a blue sky kind of idea where you're spending $100 million, you know, and then you start peeling layers off the onion and you find out exactly what is the kernel, the main kernel of what it's all about and what we want it to look like.
But you did a great job of asking a lot of questions to be sure you were clear about, well, now who's Lifewave? What do you really want to do? What's the intent? And so we were able to give you lots of information. Then you said, well, what about this? And right, what about that? Yeah. And over time, and thus, you decided, David, let's put together a docustory that I'll get done in the next few months. But it's principally is a conversation amongst the three of us with a multi-camera shoot, as we just had a conversation about the entire process. And that's what led to something that we think will be an interesting additional tool for you to use. As you know, people, they're so jaded sometimes when they hear we're a network marketing company, and oh yeah, sure, right? But then you say, well, no, wait a minute, look at this, watch that, see this, and it's all unusual, unique material and tools that no other company has. One more reason why we're out front, you know, leading the industry. Yeah. Anything else, David?
Yeah, so this is going to be an incredible tool that our community gets to utilize for, again, building brand awareness. People can learn about Lifewave, hear about the story behind the Welcome Center, and we can reach a new audience and do it in a really fun and exciting way. So Doug, thank you for everything that you've done for our Lifewave community, and we love having you here, and our brand partners love having you here.
Oh, I love being here.
It's such a privilege.
The energy is so unbelievable.
All right.
Really.
Thank you. Thank you. Well done, sir.
Thank you, Doug. Thank you. I'm going to cherish it. Jim Caldwell and Doug Drexler, everybody. Okay. Well, we are going to move on to our next segment, and we are going to have an update now on Thunderstrike. So a little bit about this is that for those of you that are new to our community, a number of years ago, I created a company called Thunderstrike, and this was designed to provide a vehicle by which we could manufacture drones for humanitarian purposes. So thought about this was, I started this company with my son, Matt, 4.5 years ago, and the idea was We're donating money to the Red Cross and other organizations like Convoy of Hope to help people in need. And it was very frustrating that when an accident occurred, when a natural disaster occurred, that it would take weeks or months for our donation to get there to the right place. And so I thought, if we had our own drone technology that could deliver patches and medical supplies. Do I look ridiculous carrying this golf club? No. If we had our own drone technology that could deliver patches and medical goods to people in need, then we could get those supplies there within 24 hours. So we began working, my son Matt and I, we began working on this as a father-son project. Did not think at the time that this would turn into anything really significant. But as it turned out, we ended up developing a revolutionary technology in power generation and generating power for drones. And now today, we are just in the process of completing the largest drone manufacturing plant in all of Europe. And we have the privilege of taking our top 20 leaders there this summer and showing that to them. So that was really an awesome experience. So I would like to move on to the next segment and talk about this a little bit, but first, let's show this video.
High performance does have its rewards. And Denmark provided the perfect backdrop to reveal the future of power generation. A new source of clean energy that will power our homes, our cars, our lives, even our future financial opportunities. And did I mention it's safe for the environment, entirely sustainable, and completely green? You could say we're making an impact without leaving a footprint. David and his wife Christina welcomed our elite SPDs to Copenhagen to receive a special look at the next groundbreaking innovation from Lifewave. A unique way to say thank you for their incredible contribution to Lifewave's unprecedented success. At Thunderstrike headquarters at the Hans Christian Andersen Airport outside Odense, Denmark, our top-achieving brand partners were able to feel its power and hear the hum of next-level efficiency, a true game-changer for humanity. An experience so exclusive, even our cameras were not allowed to capture the moment. In addition to being in every home, this technology will propel the future of unmanned aviation, revolutionizing endurance and flight times with on-demand, multi-fuel capability, as well as the speed with which we can respond to natural disasters wherever and whenever humanitarian aid is needed. As usual, this is Lifewave leading the way, like no other company can. Of course, this celebration of innovation and achievement also included the finest Denmark has to offer, both on land and at sea. This is what high performance looks like. Now, we're sharing the light in a completely new way. Be the light. Lifewave.
So now it's my pleasure to welcome to the stage a woman who's been instrumental in helping to get the Thunderstrike project off the ground in Denmark. I am also very fortunate to be able to call this person my best friend and my adorable wife. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage, Christina Fabrin.
I'm moving on. I'm moving on.
You look ravishing, my dear.
That was fun music.
That was?
Fun music.
Yes, it was fun music. No question about that. Well, I'm really looking forward to doing this segment with you because this is something that's very personal for the two of us since you and I planned out this event. And we're going to bring our community up to date on everything going on at Thunderstrike and most importantly, how this will benefit Lifewave and the Lifewave community.
I'm excited too. And it has been a great journey, it still is. And I heard that you did, tell a bit, but I think you should put a bit more words on why you started this project in the first place.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea because every project has a beginning. And with this idea, what we wanted to do is help as many people in need as possible. So back when we started with our first conference in 2005, we made this large donation to the Red Cross with many thanks to one of our VIP guests here, Mr. Thomas Burke. And a hurricane had just hit Florida, and Thomas had come to me and said, let's see if we can raise some money in our Lifewave community as well as through corporate to help these people in need. So, as I mentioned, over the years, it was very frustrating to me that we would make these donations and it would take so long to get to the people that actually needed the help. So one day I thought, okay, if we had our own drones, imagine how cool this would be to deliver our patches that relieve pain, reduce stress, improve sleep, deliver them via drone to the people in need that actually need them, and do it within 24 hours, that this would be incredibly valuable. So that was the basis of why Thunderstrike was started. But actually, you were there at the very beginning of Thunderstrike in Denmark, and that was amazing.
I have been, and we have been so blessed. Everything with this project has been with divine intervention. All of the normal barriers that a company would face have disappeared. And what we learned that neither of us knew was that Denmark is actually home for the largest drone test center in all of Europe. So this made getting started and in contact with the right people seem so effortless. And we also were able to get to the top of the Danish government very, very quickly. So I think it was very fortunate that Denmark is so small.
And it was because of that, we wouldn't have been able to do this project, I think, anyplace else other than Denmark for all of those reasons. And actually, some of this excitement started in January of this year, where we had a very special guest at our facility in Denmark, where we got a chance to demonstrate Thunderstrike technology, and that was amazing.
Yes, and he was so impressed with what you showed him that he agreed to be a part of the grand opening that we had in August of this year.
Well, the person that we're talking about is His Royal Highness, Prince Joachim of Denmark, from the royal family. And as it turns out, Prince Joachim is an incredibly accomplished man. One of the things that he does is he likes to race cars for fun, but he also gets involved with the engine, so he has a very technical mind. And what we showed him is an engine technology that most people would consider to be impossible. So he immediately became interested in Thunderstrike. But before we get too far ahead with that, I think it's important to put this into perspective. This is a huge project, and what we're going to talk about now is something that's important for our Lifewave brand partners. You've had experience in huge multi-million-dollar real estate projects, tens of millions of dollars, and your experience has been invaluable to Thunderstrike given the scale at which we're doing these things.
Thank you. Well, I think every big project is the same. in that there are certain steps that you need to take to reach the final goal. And there are daily things you need to do to bring a vision to life. So seeing the future is one thing, but staying grounded and focused each day is key. And I know that, our brand partners will say the same. Building a big team requires focus, discipline, taking daily steps. As Allison said yesterday, taking a few steps back is still progress. So, yeah, I think it's...
Well, let's talk about that specific goal for a minute, because as we're talking about developing these projects, we had a very specific goal when we started this year, and that was to focus on the grand opening of our manufacturing plant in August. It must have been incredible for you as a Dane to see what happened when we were at the morning of this event.
It was. I loved it. But I loved it for several reasons. I loved that we were able to invite the top 20 leaders in the world for Lifewave to Denmark. Yeah. And to treat you with a peek into the future. And I loved to see that Thunderstrike had dignitaries from 11 countries, from all over Europe and the US. And we also had the Prince of Denmark there to participate in the ribbon cutting.
Yeah, I don't think it's very often that a private company gets a real authentic prince to attend the ribbon cutting of the opening of a new office. So that was pretty amazing. And you saw this a little bit in the video, what Christina and I got to do was give these dignitaries a tour of our Thunderstrike production facility, and this included a demonstration of our crown jewels, which is our engine technology. So our dignitaries, our leaders got to see, feel, touch, and see that power generation technology run.
They did. And that was one of the other parts that I really loved, because I was able to stand when they came off of that experience and to get to see the expression on their faces was priceless. So I think everybody would agree to the expression that the Prince kept using, that this was jaw-dropping. And I kind of feel sorry for you that you didn't get a chance to see that.
Honey, speaking of the Prince, after that whole experience, I do have some mixed feelings about him.
You have mixed feelings about the Prince.
I do. I think you know what I'm talking about. At the end of our meeting, the polite thing to do is shake hands. So we were asking the Prince, thanking him for attending, which was an incredible honor. So I reached out to shake his hand. And what he did was approach Christina and kiss her on both cheeks. And I was standing there like an idiot, thinking I have to live the rest of my life knowing that my wife has been kissed by a prince.
Okay, I think that's being a bit silly. And I believe that the French and Italian members that are here today will agree with me that that's just a way of greeting me, right? Okay, thank you. And you know that both his wife and his dad is from France, right?
Right.
Okay. What I took away is a bit different. because the prince had agreed to shake hands with all the leaders but not speak to them. But he got so excited about this humanitarian program that he went off schedule. And he took your microphone from you, and he gave a very nice speech to all the leaders about how excited he is about everything that Lifewave is doing to help those in need.
And that's true, because it is really exciting. What we had showed to our leaders in August is a completely new way of generating power. And we wanted to give our leaders the opportunity to see a window into the future. So, good example that I could give, a good analogy is, imagine you have your car engine and it produces tremendous amounts of heat out of the exhaust, between 300 and 700 degrees Fahrenheit. Your car engine, of course, has a radiator, and the engine head runs at, again, hundreds of degrees. If you tried to put your hand on the engine while it's running, you would get a very bad burn. What we've done with Thunderstrike technology and what we demonstrated is that, number one, the air is as clean or cleaner than the surrounding environment. And so this is completely non-polluting, even though it runs on fossil fuels. Number two is it's many times more efficient than an automobile engine. When you're feeling or seeing all of that heat from the exhaust or the engine, that's all waste and that's all inefficiency. Car engine is about 17% efficient. This engine is so efficient that you can put your hand near the exhaust and you can put your hand on the engine, and the engine is running at about room temperature. So this is the basis for the home power generation unit that we're going to be releasing in the future, which is an entirely new multi-billion-dollar opportunity for our community.
In the future. But right now, we are going to be using this technology and drones that will be providing humanitarian aid to those in need. This will bring patches and life-saving medical supplies to people that need them, as well as building brand awareness for Lifewave.
Yeah, so something important that all of you should know is when does all of this happen? Well, first, our manufacturing plant that we're building in Denmark is nearly complete, and we're going to be moving in and be operational in January. It's going to take about the next year to be certified, but what you'll see in our video that we're going to show is that these humanitarian drones are currently flying, and we're going to use the coming year to get these drones into a production version, get them certified, and then they can be used what they were designed for.
Yeah, and I think it's worth, mentioning that maybe the leader trip we just had to Denmark, because it was so successful, that, and all of the leaders, of course, they really, really enjoyed the experience that they had in our country, along with being able to see the technology and drones, that we might be able to look forward to having, another incentive trip.
I think our brand partners would love that opportunity. So a great way to summarize this is that first, Lifewave will be using our Thunderstrike drones to provide humanitarian aid to people that need help. Second, these drones will deliver Lifewave patches and medical supplies to help people with pain relief, with stress, and in sleep. Third, we will be using this technology to expose more and more people to Lifewave. So imagine drones delivering humanitarian aid with Lifewave on them. And
And finally, of course, this drone technology will form the basis for an entirely new business opportunity that we can look forward to in the future, a new method of generating clean, sustainable electrical power to provide you with a new business opportunity, but energy independence. So that's what's coming in the future. So let's take a moment to look at a video we prepared on the Thunderstrike drones and our humanitarian program. Imagine if you were part of the solution instead of the problem. Imagine if you had the power to help those in need and could erase the pain of others. Imagine if people expected us to be there when disaster hit. Lifewave family members have repeatedly met the call of those in need. Whether it is to provide pain relief, a better night's sleep, or just to have the face of someone that cares, a Lifewave member has been there.
And whether donating regularly to the Red Cross over the years, or more recently with the Convoy of Hope, which jumped in immediately to help those in need after Hurricane Helene, Lifewave has always been there as well.
What happened at the beginning of all this is that we did a conference in Las Vegas, and it was a hugely successful conference. We had almost 2,000 people there for our very first one. We had 40 speakers that came in, professional athletes, professional coaches, Olympic coaches, and a fellow by the name of Thomas Burke approached me and said, you know, this is so phenomenal. I'm so proud to be a member of this company. As you know, there was just a hurricane off the coast of Florida. Have you thought about starting a program to give back? And it was at that minute I realized that when a company becomes successful, you have an obligation to help those in need and give back to those that are less fortunate. So we raised, I think it was $50,000 in relief effort for the Red Cross at that very first event. The members that we have in our community globally are absolutely extraordinary people. They have always been there to help those in need. So we had a situation in Australia where there were the bushfires, and there were Lifewave members that were there to give back and provide financial assistance, patch people, provide medical aid. We've had victims of earthquakes in Indonesia, earthquake in Italy, of course, multiple hurricanes, and Lifewave members have always been there personally to provide medical aid and assistance. The frustrating part for me is that these are people that need help now, not in a couple of weeks, they need help now. And so it was these type of incidents where I began to think that I would like to have the capability to provide medical aid, provide relief effort to people within a 24-hour period.
David took that frustration, channeled that energy toward a very positive solution designed to provide medical aid and relief supplies to people in need within 24 hours. The solution? A drone of all things, with attributes and capabilities unmatched in today's world of unmanned aircraft.
This drone can take off and land from virtually anywhere, carry a higher payload, and fly longer than any other drone in its class, and provide very valuable medical aid or search and rescue operations that other drones can't provide. We're achieving remarkable results in terms of payload and endurance. As a matter of fact, there's no other company in the world that can touch us.
Unveiled to the Lifewave community at our annual conference in 2022, a plan is already in place for a fleet of Lifewave humanitarian drones to come off the assembly line as early as late fall 2025. This is giving back on an epic scale.
With the patch technology, we accomplish things that no other company was able to accomplish, and the same thing is true about the drone. So we're going to be forging a new path forward for our community with new technology that's life-changing, that's world-changing, and we have an unbelievably great future ahead of us. And I'm more excited now about the future of Lifewave than ever before. So to help talk about our humanitarian program, please welcome back to the stage our president, Meredith Burkich.
So inspiring, you guys, and you know that corporate philanthropy is extremely important at Lifewave, and it is extremely important in building culture because it really touches on the cornerstone of modern business and humanity. The cornerstone of giving back provides first an increase in brand reputation and trust globally, and studies have shown that actually consumers are 85% more likely to give their business to brands who support causes and charities. So it also increases the stakeholder engagement and brand partner retention by boosting the morale and loyalty within the company. And it truly matters at Lifewave, truly, as it aligns with our business and our purpose. It strengthens our culture, it builds our trust in the community, and is a physical representation of the heart of our founder, David Schmidt, the executive team, and certainly all of you in this room and around the world watching, the brand partners and our leadership. Because when we think about Lifewave, and we think about being a performance and purpose-driven culture, and reflecting David's spirit of innovation as well in the ways that we all participate in illuminating the global human condition. So over the last 20 years, Lifewave has always been attuned to those in need during crisis and during tragedies, from floods to hurricane, tornadoes from Asia to Europe and the United States. And in the aftermath of these heart-wrenching events, Lifewave has been there with millions of dollars in products and financial aid, thanks to the generosity of David Schmidt, for relief workers, victims, and their families.
Meredith, as you know, the Red Cross has been a great partner over the years. And over the last few years, we have also worked with an incredible organization, the Convoy of Hope. And I feel the same way. I can't quite hit that note that you just hit. But it's an organization dedicated to working globally with a network of volunteers and partners, including local churches, businesses, governments, agencies, to deliver aid and resources to communities all over the world and fast. And we wanted to spotlight their efforts today. With us is Regional Director of Convoy of Hope, Vaughn Lamosse. Please give him a warm round of applause. Vaughn? Thank you, Vaughn. Vaughn, it's really great to have you here. Thank you. I know you're incredibly busy. Convoy of Hope is a massive organization, global, and we really appreciate you taking the time to be here today. So your organization is uniquely positioned to respond quickly when disaster strikes. That's one of the things that we love about working with your team. Please tell us, how did your organization become so efficient when it comes to logistics and delivering aid fast?
That's a great question. What makes Convoy of Hope very unique is, first and foremost, we are a faith-based organization. Thank you. Praise the Lord for that. You know, we give the Lord the praise for all those for sure. But because we are a faith-based organization, we're bold in our belief. We respond first, trusting God to provide for our needs and resources later. Our founder, Hal Donaldson, has probably said it best than anybody. He says it's our response for us to respond. It's God's response to write the check. And for 32 years, I can tell you, he has never failed us yet. What also makes Convoy of Hope unique is we don't wait. Because we respond and trust on the Lord, we don't have a board meeting. We don't wait for funding. When a disaster strikes, we move, and we move fast. And how can we do that? The question is, how can we do that? It's because for decades, we have invested in a large logistics operation, one that many Fortune 500 companies would envy. But we have a heart to serve, just like this organization. We have our own semi-trucks. In major disasters, we'll also partner with FedEx and large organizations to act and move quickly. And we've used everything. We've used barges, boats, helicopters, airlifts, even horses and donkeys. Whenever and whatever it takes to make things happen, we'll do it. And maybe one day soon, thunderstrike. Another thing very unique about Convoy Hope is that we are centrally located. Our global headquarters is in Springfield, Missouri, right in the center of the US. From there, we can be to either coast within 3 to 4 days. But that was not good enough for us. Very much like Lifewave, you're always pushing the boundaries, aren't you? Convoy is similar. We have now just opened up 2 other regional distribution centers, one in Atlanta and just one up the road in Sacramento, California, cutting that time down to reach people quicker and faster. But honestly, there's one secret. There's one secret to our success. And you know what that is? We don't do it alone. We couldn't do it alone. Our most valuable partner in this whole operation is the local church. Nobody knows the community better than the local church. Nobody is more trusted, and nobody is in a better position to help. That's why we align with the church. They will be there long term, and they'll be there long after we're gone. We make them the hero and elevate the church, not ourselves. All this Convoy of Hope needs is a parking lot. We are self-contained. We're fully ready to roll. When our trucks roll in with food, water, and relief, we even have a sleeping unit, kitchen mobile unit, showers. We even have a chainsaw crew for when we do cleanup. It's all available. But one thing that is true is that it's not about our trucks. It's not even about our logistics. It's not even about the great relief that we bring. It's about one thing, it's about hope. Every meal that we hand out, every disaster we respond to, all of it carries one simple message. God loves you, and your life can be better tomorrow than it is today. That is what Convoy Hope is all about. And today, I'm here because I'm grateful for this organization. And know something, you need to know this, and you need to hear me clearly. You guys are agents of hope. You are agents of hope. And we're so grateful for Lifewave because without partners like you, none of the things that we do are possible. So thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you, Vaughn. Appreciate that.
If there wasn't a drought, there would still be a war. If the fires snuffed out, there would still be the storms. And for every child who has a place they call home, there are countless more who feel lost and alone. There are still farmers with barren farmland, and mothers who just need a quick helping hand. There are kids who don't know their futures can be bright, and survivors who aren't sure if it's still worth the fight. This list is far longer than we can fathom, and the hurt is deeper than we can imagine. But a truth we can cling to, no matter what this life brings, is that hope, even small, is a miraculous thing. Now, hope doesn't dismiss what's been broken and marred, and hope does not mean that the journey's not hard. Sometimes, hope is the spark you need to get through the day, and sometimes hope is just a promise that there's help on the way. So we load up the trucks, and we send supplies. We pass out relief and watch hope start to rise. Hope is a domino that starts a chain reaction. Overflowing hope puts our faith into action. When everyone does as much as they can, together our impact compounds and expands. After a storm, hope looks like a bag of supplies, a small bit of relief that brings light back to their eyes. A farmer broken down from years of worry and toil, that burden is lighter when vegetables sprout up from their soil. Women around the world are overlooked because of their femininity. Empowering them to start a business starts to restore their dignity. And something as simple as a bowl full of rice can absolutely change a hungry child's life. Hope causes you to think and dream and explore the possibility that maybe, just maybe, you were created for more. You see, we're never quite sure where this journey may lead, but our promise to you is to chase the hopeless full speed, to share what we have with the hurting, the suffering, and the poor, and trust what was taken can finally be restored.
So, Vaughn, it is our honor today to present this donation to you and Convoy of Hope in support of your extraordinary humanitarian efforts around the world and to help you fuel the mission of hope and healing. Thank you, Vaughn.
Thank you.
So, Meredith, we're not done honoring people for humanitarian aid.
Not a problem.
Not by a long shot. I'd like to thank the man who spearheaded many of Lifewave's humanitarian efforts, Mr. Thomas Burke.
That's cute.
I'm proud to call Thomas a friend. We've known each other now more than 20 years. And Thomas and I have worked together because he's always on the lookout to help people in need. He's always looking to make life better for people. And recently, he brought us an opportunity to contribute to a terrific organization that's helping veterans in a very unique way. So, Thomas, if you would, we would love to hear from you about this organization and how Lifewave is making a difference in these people's lives.
Well, thank you, David, and thank you all brand partners for being here and being part of this fantastic day. Actually, although I brought it to David, this opportunity, recently, it actually started about 2 years ago, and I'm going to be very quick because I have limited time and they might hook me off with one of those folks. About 2 years ago at the International Red Cross Ball in Palm Beach, there was this very special guest speaker. I didn't know him, I never met him, but as soon as he started speaking, I just felt some sort of energy. And it grew and it grew and it grew. And I knew that I just had to talk to this man. Well, it turned out to be that he was a retired Major General of the U.S. Army. Fantastic resume, I won't go into that. But we started talking, and through the event, this event lasted for about 3 days, we really became friends and got to know each other. Well, lo and behold, he is the CEO and chairman and founder of a facility like I've never seen for veterans. And when he told me about this, I couldn't believe it. And I've been a veterans advocate for over 50 years. I have to say that this facility is the best facility that I've ever seen in those 50 years. The taking care of veterans. And the name of that facility is called the National Center for Healthy Veterans. And what they do is have a program, doesn't matter which branch of the service you're in, but if you need help helping these veterans return to civilian life, or if they're already in civilian life, helping them in so many ways, self-sustaining. And I said to David, this is a company that we need to get involved with. He says, well, okay, tell me about it. I did. David had met the general through a Zoom call, and he said, yeah, Thomas, wow, this is an interesting guy. So time went on. It turns out that his wife had heard of Lifewave, and of course, David in his generosity said, let's send them some patches and maybe they can use them on the veterans. And I said, well, isn't that a novel idea that you've come up with? But so we did. Then what happened? They had such great success with the veterans. All of a sudden we got testimonials, video testimonials from this facility. So I have to say, David, he's never, in the 21 years now, David, never said no to anything that I've ever brought to him. And he still to this day. And he said to me, I said, David, this is recently now, but fast forwarding into September. And I said, David, we've been invited to participate in an event, a grand opening event of an arena up in Virginia at the National Center for Healthy Veterans. And he says, well, on my schedule, and I said, don't tell me you're telling me to go. And he did, and I did. I went to the grand opening. And it was a grand opening for a 25,000 square foot arena called the Spirit of Virginia. And in this arena, they conduct horse programs for the veterans. This is a self-sustaining community. They are so successful with this facility. So I went up to this ribbon cutting, and we were up there for 3 days. And meeting these veterans and seeing the smiles on their faces from what Lifewave has helped them in was fantastic. But even better than that, we, meaning Lifewave, and David Schmidt and his generosity and his compassion for veterans especially, he said, the general said to me, Thomas, I don't know how to thank you and David for what you're doing. In any event, what transpired, Lifewave has a memorial there now because there's a 2-story viewing gallery inside this arena with the Lifewave date on it. This means that it's just an opportunity for thousands and thousands of people to be able to see Lifewave and be exposed to Lifewave. Actually, I just had a text about 3 hours ago from the general. Thomas, we have 1,000 people here today, and there's 3,000 expected tomorrow because we're having a rodeo roping contest inside the arena. And I was elated. I said, that's fantastic. He says, yeah, there's only people here from 11 states. So from those people from 11 states are going to see Lifewave and see how it's demonstrated.
So.
And I think we have some slides or something that we could show. Yes?
So, Thomas, one thing that you and I would like to do to show our appreciation, I know Meredith feels the same way, this is off schedule, but we want to take a moment to thank all of the veterans that are here today that live in service to protect our lives. Thomas, thank you again for everything that you've done over the last 20 years to help people in need, and you truly embody the spirit of Lifewave. Thank you. Mr. Thomas Burke. So now we get an opportunity to present some humanitarian awards for people in our community. This award is especially meaningful because it reflects the true heart of our community. We'll always have products and a business opportunity, but our culture of giving back and helping those in need is always going to define us. The Humanitarian Award is supported by Lifewave brand partners as a testament to integrity, to teamwork, leadership, and humanitarian efforts.
And this year's achievers were chosen through the recommendations from brand partners, top field leaders, regional staff, and our global corporate senior leadership team.
And what makes this award so powerful is that it's not just about helping in the community at large. It's about building up teams, supporting others within Lifewave and without, and living a commitment to doing the right thing every single day.
So let's celebrate this year's Humanitarian Award recipients. From the Asia Pacific region, congratulations to Ronald and Mary.
As leaders at Lifewave's highest rank, Ronald and Mary embody a spirit of service that extends beyond business success. Their unwavering commitment to uplifting others is evident through active support of local charitable causes and Ronald's commitment to academic programs to train leaders across Lifewave for lasting success. Together, they exemplify integrity, unity, generosity, serving as true role models within the Lifewave community. Their remarkable contributions and dedication make them deeply deserving of the Humanitarian Award.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, for the Humanitarian Award for Europe, the Middle East, and Africa region, congratulations to, want to get this pronunciation right, Aitan Ivan Orfaz.
Aithan Orpaz, SPD from Israel, has achieved SPD qualification more than 90% of the year, joined every incentive trip, and earned a top spot in the X2O promotion. His consistency, integrity, and lead-by-example attitude make him a role model for his entire team and the entire Lifewave community. Despite challenges in his home country of Israel, Aithan continues to grow his business with unwavering dedication, driving his team and Lifewave forward in the region. He embodies leadership, resilience, and commitment, the true spirit of the Humanitarian Award.
honoree for the North America region is April Vaughn.
April lives with integrity, uniting others through teamwork and quietly inspires through service. After being directly affected by Hurricane Helen and losing power for 11 days, she stayed in contact with her team, offering encouragement that kept many active and motivated. She also provided Lifewave patches to her community during that time. Beyond crisis situations, April sponsors youth missionaries and supports a local animal rescue. Her selfless leadership, generosity, and commitment to others exemplify Lifewave's values.
All right. For being the light in the community and for being who you are. Thank you.
If you exit the arena in Hall A, you're going to need to go back through security and be back in your seats by 1:30 when we'll kick off the final session of this amazing conference. All awards must be picked up by 1:30 today in Hall A. We will see you then.